What I'm really seeing and can see in terms of innovation is AI. Everybody is talking about AI, not just in terms of, different elements within a particular audio ad, whether it's the music being created by AI or the voice being created by AI, but actually a combination of all of those different elements. And I think that with the different awards, with the different talks, it seems to be a very consistent theme. Is everybody's starting to think, okay, after COVID, what is the next step in innovation, and really getting on that bandwagon as soon as possible. Well, I went to see a talk yesterday by SXM Media Pandora, and they were really talking about some of the incredible stuff that they've done with AI across music, in particular across their audio advertising. So I feel like we are just starting to scratch the surface. Some of the kind of bits that they were talking about is kind of just reflecting on how real and authentic it actually sounds, and also where it doesn't sound, completely like a band, for example, thinking just about music here, it really, you almost appreciate it for what it is. Kendrick Lamar was playing, there was no band behind him, it was literally just him and this music. And so we're starting to have a real appreciation for that kind of differentiation between the human sound, but then also what we can really do as humans with the tech. So I think one of the biggest challenges when it comes to AI is really not scaring people. People are always a little bit concerned about losing that human factor and that human touch, and we don't want to all be taken over by robots one day. So I think the challenge is to kind of slowly work our way in, but that people need to also embrace it rather than be in fear of it, because otherwise we are at the risk of being left behind. I think what's really driving creativity is how we actually make use of the data and contextuality that we have available to us. We're able to do things now with data where we can completely geo-map where someone is and build their habits from it. And yeah, you might think, well, from a marketer's perspective, I can see how that makes sense. But actually taking people on a creative journey that's really relevant to them and making that creative story, not just a powerful story, but actually useful, is where good creative is now going. It's not enough to just have a good story. It needs to actually be useful to the person listening or watching that story. I think there is a massive future in this. I don't think anywhere in the world, especially in the last 2.5 years, you can just meet people so quickly and so effectively. You'll be speaking to someone, they'll bring in someone else, and then all of a sudden you're meeting people who, can really impact not just the work that you're creating, but your entire career later down the line. And especially, I think, because we haven't had that contact with human beings, being able to really flex that and make use of that collaborative effort is super important from a networking perspective. But then when it comes to creativity as well, really all kind of singing to the same hymn sheet, if you will, in terms of what's next and how we can really drive that through all of the creative work that we're producing. So it's extremely important. I think what I'm looking forward to the most in terms of what's going to be happening, I think, in the next kind of 6 months in the future, is really how we make use of the tech that is available to us. I think now that we've had a moment to actually see what we need, it's a matter of taking that tech, but ensuring that everything that we built through COVID, which was all about that human connection, lasts through the tech. Whereas without it, I think we could have been heading into a tech-heavy, emotionless environment. But now, based on what we've learned from COVID, I think it's a combination of the two that we're going to see throughout all creative.